Welcome to my channel. I'm Dani Walker. Today I'm sharing my favorites for Binibining Pilipinas 2020. If you're new, please subscribe to my channel and hit that notifications bell, as well as follow me on social media at Dani Walker. This is my second time sharing my favorites for this pageant, but it's very different this year than last year because the contestants of this year's pageant are no longer competing for the Miss Universe Philippines title, which many people said was the most prestigious title out of the 6 that were awarded at this pageant. So even though that title is not up for grabs, contestants are still going to be competing for Globe, International, Supranational, Grand International, and Intercontinental. Philippines have done very well in recent years at all of these pageants, so these are still really prestigious titles. But now I have so many new questions for all of you who are watching because things are quite different this year. Since they won't be sending a representative to Miss Universe, my question is, what now is viewed as the most prestigious title out of the 5, or do viewers in the Philippines and the contestants truly view each title as equal? I'm really curious why some contestants from last year's competition decided to remain in this competition and why others chose to compete for the Universe title. I think it would not have been an easy decision. There's different things to consider. If your main goal was to represent Philippines at Miss Universe, then of course you would go compete for that title. But if you compete in this pageant, then you are more likely to go home with the title since more crowns are awarded. So I think there's a trade-off when you look at which competition is right for you if you are a contestant. And if you are a contestant, please feel free to share how you decided what competition to enter. I'm very curious about your mindset. What really meant the most to you? I'm also curious, is this pageant still going to be televised? And how do you feel about the pageants splitting up? That now there's a separate pageant specifically for Miss Universe Philippines. If you like that the pageants are now split up to award 1 title at one pageant and 5 titles at the other, comment pageant down below. Or if you disagree, let me know your thoughts as well. Now, in no particular order, I'm going to talk about our contestants this year. So I have looked at their official headshots, which I think are stunning. And I also checked out the introduction videos of each of the contestants, but I have seen some of them compete last year, so of course that's going to sway some of my opinions. Number 37, ALEXANGELA. I love that she is an entrepreneur, that she followed her passions and she followed her heart and went for something less conventional. I believe that when you are an entrepreneur, you do have a sense of grit and you know what hard work is. I think that that speaks a lot for a person and her qualities and potentially qualities as a title holder. She's also a very beautiful contestant, and I know that some of you have commented this before. You mentioned that every one of the international pageants is looking for something different, either facially, body-wise, in terms of communication skills, a platform. If anyone wants to kind of dig deeper and help me understand what each of these international organizations looks for in a title holder, I would really appreciate that. I would love to hear from you. And I also want to know which contestants you believe are best suited for which international pageants. Because right now I'm really unsure. I do have a few really top favorites of mine that I believe that no matter what, they will walk away with the title after this pageant. I'm not sure which title they would receive, so help me out with that. Contestant number 2, ROWENA. She is so beautiful. I loved her in her images, and I was happy to see that in her videos she looked very similar as well. I really just like her presence since she's somebody that I'm looking out for. Contestant number 24, Lovely. I love that name too. I wish that she would smile more when she's answering questions. I felt that she had a lot more personality in the outtakes that they featured of her in the contestant videos, and I'd like to see her show that side a little bit more whenever she answers questions. That's something that I would be looking for in her interview. Number 9, Patricia, has such a sweet spirit. I love that about her, and also she is just one of my favorite contestants facially. I feel like she looks like a doll. She is so stunning, so I can definitely see her walking away with one of the 5 titles. She has such a sweet spirit, and that's not something that I think you can fake or learn, but I do think it's a really nice quality to have in a person, and I think it's something that comes across as very sincere. Patricia Garcia is another one of my favorites. To me, she just seems like a really solid contestant. She photographs really well, she looks great on camera, and seems very confident. If you're watching on a mobile device, please be sure to screenshot this episode, post it in an Instagram story, and tag me at Dani Walker, and while you're at it, tag your favorite contestants as well. Number 8, MEIJI. She has been one of my favorite contestants. I did notice in her videos that she had a lot of outtakes. That is something that does concern me, because I feel like if you have multiple outtakes during these videos where the questions are generally pretty simple to answer, that it means that she might have had some delays in her answer, or she might have misspoke and wanted to start all over again. That causes concerns for me in the communications department. For some of the titles that they are awarding, that's going to be something that's important at an international level, so I don't believe she would be best suited for all of the 5 titles that are going to be awarded, but she certainly could qualify for some of them and still be a great representative of the Philippines. Communication skills are essential for a title holder regardless of your pageant system. There are certain pageant questions that I encourage all of my clients to prepare for, and I actually am giving those away for free to you. So if you are preparing for your pageant, please be sure to click the description below to get a copy of my top 20 pageant interview questions to help you prepare for your next competition. Number 11, Maureen, is a really big fan favorite. She competed at Miss USA representing Arizona, and she to me is just so beautiful. She made top 10, I believe, at Miss USA. She's one of those contestants that I wish would smile more as she's answering questions. Also, I would like to see a really strong walk for her. I did see a little clip of her walk in a contestant video online, and I think that it could be a little bit stronger. That's just what I saw. She's probably practicing a ton right now, but that's something that I'm going to be looking out for. Number 13, Samantha Bernardo is one of my favorite contestants. I loved her last year. She had my favorite overall evening gown look last year in a gorgeous gold gown with her hair swept to the side. Love her so much. I really like her personality. I feel like she has a nice balance of confidence and also just being comfortable in front of a camera, and she's so beautiful. For me, she will easily go home with one of those 5 titles, and I cannot wait to see her represent the Philippines internationally. I'm going to be following her year. My money's definitely on her. Candidate number 1, another Samantha, also a fan of her. She mentioned that she grew up in the Philippines, but I think it's interesting that she doesn't really have an accent, and how does that happen? Because I feel like I definitely have an American accent. I realized more and more that I have a Southern California accent. That was just something that struck me about her. It's not really relevant to anything, but I like her. If you haven't seen it already, be sure to check out my favorites video for Miss Universe Philippines. Just click this episode right up here if you're enjoying this episode. Number 21, Hannah, is a fan favorite from last year. I talked about her last year. She placed in semifinals. She is a mix of Filipina and also Australian. I can hear now that her Australian accent has been fading more and more since she has been in the Philippines, and I saw a clip of her walk, and I feel like Hannah is working so hard. Last year she was really new to pageantry, and I feel like she's making leaps and bounds, so I'm not surprised if Hannah walks away with one of the 5 international titles. One thing I would like to see is to soften her look. I wish that her hair wasn't a solid black, just a softer brown I think would look so great on her. Making sure that she is wearing softer colors, because last year she competed in a very dark colored gown, and I feel like it not only washed her out, it didn't help her to stand out on stage. I personally would love to see her hair down in a softer color or a jewel tone. If you are preparing for a pageant and you need coaching or more resources, please be sure to check out my website, DaniWalkerOfficial.com. Number 16 is Alexandra, and as I was watching her video, I feel that she's beautiful, but there wasn't anything about her introduction that especially stood out just in comparison to the other contestants, whether that was with personality, with communication skills, whether it was a fun fact, and I think think that that is something that's going to be really important because I have judged a lot of contestants like her, and sometimes it's not that you've done anything wrong at a pageant, it's just that you didn't have that little extra that made you stand out from the crowd. So when I saw her just in the introductions, I'm not saying this will happen at the pageant, but just in those videos, I felt like she was getting lost in the mix a little bit, but I'm still a fan of her. Number 14, Hazel, is giving me Miss Universe vibes. I am so sad she is not competing for the Universe title. She is so fun and carefree. Please tell me she's eligible to compete in Miss Universe Philippines after she wins one of these 5 titles, competes there, and then is able to go back to that pageant. I would love to see her on that Miss Universe stage. Is it just me? Please comment down below. I loved her. Number 36, Vicky, is another contestant who's returning from last year and the year before. Vicky had placed as a runner-up in years prior, and then last year she only placed in the semifinals, and I believe that was a result of her onstage question. Something maybe confused her or overwhelmed her in that moment, which is why I believe that she placed lower, and I would love to see her in some capacity represent the Philippines. I think she's such a beautiful and sweet contestant. Also, I would like to see more personality from her as well. I really liked the outtakes that they were showing because you got to see how a contestant was when she isn't on, when she doesn't feel like she has to provide a pageant answer, and I think that that's true for all of us, and I really like Vicky, so I'm hoping to see her represent Philippines. Number 17 is Justine, and her eyes reminded me so much of Rashem from last year. I just thought she is so beautiful and captivating. She's definitely one of my favorites, and also 17 is my favorite number, so go Justine. I really like her, and she's somebody that I'm really paying attention to. Those are my favorites for this year's competition. If there's someone that I missed that you absolutely love, please be sure to share about them in the comments below. I appreciate you joining me for this one. Please be sure to follow me on social media at Dani Walker. Comment your thoughts below. Give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends if you really enjoyed it. That would truly help me out. It is a huge help when you support the channel in that way, and it is so appreciated. Thank you all for watching this episode though, and I hope to see you at the next one.